Trump proved during the presidential campaign, being charged with a crime can often result in a huge money haul. A source familiar with Letitia James' political operation tells CNN that the New York Attorney General brought in $567,000 in the 24 hours since she was indicted yesterday for alleged bank fraud, her best fundraising day of her decades-long career, actually. Tonight, the polling frontrunner to be the next mayor of New York City, Zohran Mamdani, is fiercely coming to James's defense, standing outside the same courthouse where she famously sued Trump for business.
This is not only the right thing to do, by the way, but it's also a very good tactical decision from Zohran Mamdani, because Andrew Cuomo is deeply in the pocket of Trump, and therefore he can't really come out and make bold declarative statements about how what Trump is doing is completely inappropriate, even though it obviously is, and even though every New Yorker obviously also recognizes that too. So, good tactical decision from Zohran as well, because anytime Trump does something super up, Zohran can just be like, "This is completely messed up. This is completely unacceptable." Hold on. Oh yeah, Zohran can come out and be like, "This is up. This is inappropriate." Yeah, Cuomo can't do shit about it.
Fraud. He went on the attack against President Trump, a role that he believes is critical to being the next leader of New York City. And joining me now is the Democratic New York City mayoral candidate, Zohran Mamdani. And thank you so much for being here. Obviously, following the news of the indictment of the Attorney General here, Letitia James, last night, I know you said you actually got a chance to speak with her after she was indicted. What did she have to say to you?
She told me, "Don't worry about me." And I think that's just indicative of what she means to so many New Yorkers. She's somebody who has put the city, the state, the people of it first. And frankly, that's why Donald Trump is persecuting her. It's because of the fact that she looks at everyone in this state, everyone in this country, as being held to the same standards of the law. And she held Donald Trump to that same law. And he couldn't take the audacity that he would have that applied to him. And so what we're seeing is the weaponization of justice, and it's one that's looking to make an example of the Attorney General, but it's one where we will have her back through every step of the way.
Well, and Trump has always pointed to what she said on the campaign trail, that she would go after Trump, that he would not be above the law if she won. Obviously, she did prosecute him. He's gone after you multiple times as well. He's called you many things, including, quote, a communist lunatic, which I'm sure you're well aware of. Yeah. Do you worry that he might try to come after you as well?
Look, I think we've seen, whether it be with James Comey, whether it be with Attorney General James, that this is not something that Donald Trump is going to stop at any one individual. It's a feature of his political agenda, and it is the only thing that he can quite deliver on in this moment. And so I know that when he makes these threats of denaturalizing me, deporting me, arresting me, these are ones that he may intend to deliver on. And yet it is also the price of standing up to that administration that many of us are willing to pay if it means actually standing up for New Yorkers.
Do you prepare for something like that if he does try to come after you in terms of that?
Well, I mean, when I was speaking to Attorney General James, she said, "I have the best legal team around me." And that gave her confidence. And I think many of us will have to take those same precautions. But what is so alarming is that in this moment, when we are seeing authoritarianism plain and simple, the weaponization of the Department of Justice, we have other candidates running for the same seat that I am, the mayor of New York City, like Andrew Cuomo, who can't even bring themselves to issue a statement with the names Tish James or Donald Trump. And just this morning, while I was standing alongside people who've been on the front lines of this fight, be it Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez or Maya Wiley or the Speaker of the City Council, Adrienne Adams, Andrew Cuomo was on TV refusing to denounce Donald Trump's persecution of Attorney General James and refusing to describe that as political when it's clear for all of us to see.
And he put out a statement last night, obviously on her indictment. Cuomo did not mention Letitia James by name in that statement. What did that say to you?
I think it just shows how unwilling he is to actually name what it is that we are seeing or who it's even impacting. And the only thing that I can give him the benefit of the doubt for is that he's at least showing New Yorkers a glimpse of what his capitulation will look like if he were to be the mayor of the city. It would be one that would continue the era we've seen from Mayor Adams, where there are oftentimes press conferences where he will refuse to even say the president's name or acknowledge the crisis that president is bringing to the city.
Yeah, he argues that because he battled Trump before, that he could do so again. Obviously, Mayor Adams is now out of this race. We've seen your polling remain pretty steady. You're about 13 points ahead of him, but he is 10 points higher than where he was previously, according to the latest Quinnipiac poll. One question about that is something that's been brought up on Capitol Hill multiple times this week, is why the Democratic leaders there have not endorsed you. Have they told you why they haven't endorsed you yet?
The conversations that we've had have always been focused on the necessity of an affordability agenda. And I have to say that in this moment especially, I'm appreciative of the fact that we have Democrats in Washington holding the line, making sure that we protect the health care of millions of Americans across this country. And what I will see, and I'm seeing right now across the city, is that New Yorkers are desperate for a mayor who can stand up to Donald Trump. And in these next 3.5 weeks, we have the opportunity to let New Yorkers know that part of the reason that Andrew Cuomo won't say his name is that Andrew Cuomo is funded by the same billionaires who gave us Donald Trump's second term.
Trump has argued that Democrats don't really have real leadership in this moment, that they're kind of lost at sea, essentially. Is that how you see it, or do you think that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are doing a good job in Washington?
You know, I think holding the line right.
Did Zohran ever come on the stream? I missed a bunch of days in a row. What do you mean? Like recently? No. I mean, unless you're chatter is tuning in from prior to the primary. Chatter missed not a couple days in a row. Politics chatters don't watch IRLs. Oh my God, it's true. These guys probably were like, oh God, I never watched that because it's a IRL stream and it's not like him sitting in his goddamn studio. He wasn't sitting in his goddamn studio reacting to the news. So of course I didn't watch it. He's just caught on rewind. Yeah.
Now for healthcare for millions of Americans, that is exactly what we need. But I understand what Donald Trump is saying if he's referring to Andrew Cuomo, because Andrew Cuomo is what used to pass for a leader in the Democratic Party, and now he refers to Democrats in the third person. He refers to them as something he doesn't belong to, and that's indicative.
This is what I was saying. Is like this is such a good cook, because like Andrew Cuomo, anytime Donald Trump does some, Andrew Cuomo has to stay silent. And New Yorkers will be reminded that he is not going to put up any opposition to Donald Trump because he is in the pocket of Donald Trump. So things like this are a reminder of said reality. The debate is next week. I know we will be watching the debate, and I will be around New York City during the election, most likely. Saw this tweet from reliable source. China seeks to remain focused 100% on open source, open weights, open data models, and 90% adoption of AI agents and work roles by 2030. Thoughts on Mamdani doing a 100%, 180 on arresting BB? I think that's, did he do that? I'm surprised. Or is that like a squirrel post or something? Oh, here comes the copium. No, I don't have any copium. I don't. If he 180'd, he 180'd, and that's up. I think this is something that I have. Look, overall, I've said this already. I think like there is. He said he would stand by it the other day. He literally asked about it. No copium chatter. Was that Kaya's treat? Yes. My mom was complaining earlier, saying, "I can't believe the things people say online about the most spoiled dog of all time." He was asked in an interview the other day and said yes, he would still arrest him.
The fact that he's only out there for himself, that's the only constant in his own politics, is his ambition.
If you were mayor today and Trump pulled the infrastructure funding as he did for major projects here in New York, something that Republicans have been trying to convince them to reverse, what would you do specifically to try to stop it?
I think there are a number of things. The first is you utilize every legal tool at your disposal. You sue Donald Trump because too often what we find is we're treating his pronouncements as if they are legal just by virtue of them coming from his mouth. And we've seen in California, when you have Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass and the Attorney General of the state coming together to file a lawsuit, a federal judge found in their favor the deployment of the National Guard was illegal. The Attorney General there estimates that for every dollar they spent on legal fees, they recovered more than $30,000 in what would have otherwise been lost federal funding. And we've seen, whether it be Pritzker in Illinois, Governor Hochul here in New York, there is the means by which to fight back through the legal tools. And also, we have to actually make the case in public. I don't think I've heard our mayor right now say all that much about the $18 billion in infrastructure funding, or from Andrew Cuomo for that matter. But what I will say is that it jeopardizes the promise we made to people in Harlem decades ago, the the subway station would actually be built on 125th Street, would extend the 2nd Avenue line, and the people who are using the most used rail travel in the country.
Do you think the governor has made that case forcefully enough?
I think the governor has been making a good case, and I think the governor has shown that there is a way to beat Donald Trump, and the way is to actually fight back. Because we used to hear Donald Trump talk a lot about congestion pricing. He doesn't do it anymore. And part of that is because the governor actually stood up and said no. What we would see if former Governor Cuomo was the mayor is he would accept the terms of the agreement right when Donald Trump made them.
President Trump is going to the Middle East this weekend. Obviously, there is now a ceasefire in place. The IDF troops are pulling back. People are returning to Gaza. Do you believe the president deserves credit for brokering this ceasefire?
You know, I'll say that the news of a ceasefire leaves me with hope, the images of children celebrating, and I pray that it is lasting. I pray that it delivers peace. And I think that the question of praise should come in the enforcement of this ceasefire, because what this agreement can never do is erase what the last few years of tragedy have been for so many, whether it be Hamas's horrific war crime of October 7th or the Israeli government's genocide of Palestinians since. And what we are talking about is no agreement can bring back the rubble or make it whole. It can bring back entire bloodlines that have been erased. It can bring back hostages that died in captivity. And so we continue to both mourn and remember what has occurred and hope that the future will look far different than it.
So at what point would you decide that he does deserve credit for it?
If the genocide ends, then I think that's something worthy to be praised. And if the hostages are returned, those things together have to be done in tandem.
So you think maybe in a week after you see if the hostages are returned, the fighting is continued to have ceased, that then maybe at that point you would give him credit for this?
I think if it sustains, yes. And the fact of the matter is that the hostage families themselves.
Chad, isn't that bad of a take? Why y'all mad? Chatters are mad for understandable reasons, because he's presenting a blanket symmetry between Israel's actions and October 7 or Hamas. And it's something that he, if he wasn't running for office, this is not something that he would have done. It's just because it's just not, there is no, it's incorrect. There is no symmetry. He is burnifying in real time, it seems. And I think it's unnecessary. That's what's so crazy about it, is that this is so unnecessary. The reality of the matter is, if Zohran's starting point was like this kind of position on this issue, I'd probably be less critical. I'd be like, yeah, great. He's bold. He's brave. He's speaking to the truth about the genocide. And of course he's doing the, he's paying the piper, right? As far as like the reflection on Jewish pain, Israeli pain, right? It's not even Jewish pain. It's just Israeli pain, really. Because at least he's not doing the other side, where he's not like going into it by being like, oh, well, the anti-Semitism is completely out of control. We got to dial it back. That type of thing. He's not doing that. But the reason why I'm more critical, I think, is because like two reasons. Okay, number one, that's not his starting position. That's not his starting position. Like he knows better. His dad knows better. But also right now, this very moment is perhaps the worst moment to do this. You are in an incredibly unique position to push the boundaries, to push and expand the permission structure, and hopefully bring it closer to the truth, because you have maximum leverage. And it's not something that I think people would punish you over. But I will say, it is clear to me from everything that I have seen, regardless of the expansion of the Overton window, regardless of the Overton window shifting closer and closer to the reality and the recognition of the reality that Israel has done a genocide and this is completely unsustainable, and there must be some kind of decoupling from Israel, regardless of the reality that most Americans are so much more open to that position. And Zohran himself, with his platform of national prominence during the primary debates, actually helped prove that the time for politicians to make bold statements about the true nature of Israel's conduct I think the faucet of anti-Semitism allegations have given him a bit of cold feet. I think he's playing this as secure as he possibly can. That's it. I am become Hasanabi, destroyer of dogs. How many months of a subscriber is that? That's crazy. This motherfucker been in here for 12 months. There is don't ban that chatter. He's just memeing. That's crazy. There is 0% chance that chatter. Yeah. There's 0% chat. There's 0% chance that chatter unironically thinks that I'm like a dog abuser. Okay. He's just memeing. Most of the people who do sincerely believe that or just like want to use this as an opportunity to be like, Hasan, you're a bad guy. They don't come in here and make funny jokes. They don't say, why did you fire your dog out of a cannon point blank at a brick wall? They don't say stuff like that. They say, Kaya abuse, or not Kaya. They don't even know Kaya's name. They'll be like, dog abuse. Your dog is abusing you. Shock collar. You've shocked. Your dog has shocked you. You are killer of dog. The amount of capitulation to anti-Semitism allegations when they are completely disingenuous is not great, but it's not the worst either. Yeah, I'm telling you, I think he is trying to moderate his position at a time when he does not need to at all. Yeah, or they'll say they hear you with the, I came in here to watch you abuse your dog. Or my favorite this morning was how much do I have to pay you to watch you abuse your dog? It's like, dude, you're an insane person. Like, why would you type that out? That's like really weird. A really weird thing. I think he has to do all that so we can govern because New York City politics is very, very Zionist. No, it's not. Wait, what? You literally called his take at the debate is lib and disappointing. Now you're praising that moment. I think people need to chill about him paying the piper. Wait, what do you mean? You called one a war crime and the other a genocide. Speaking them in the same breath doesn't mean he's equivocating them. 2 years. 2 years. 2 years of genocide. And the equivocation wasn't like Hamas's war crimes or anything like that. It was more so about the hostages and the genocide, the victims of the genocide. Oh, I saw this one. This one's funny. I'm Team Slime. Yeah, he said, hashtag, let Hasan kill dogs. No, New York City in general is not pro-Israel any longer. New York City politics is probably less pro-Israel than other places as well. I still like Zohran, and I think he's the best option for New York City, but he doesn't need to be saying all this in every interview. Yeah. I think I will go so far as to say, due to his own expansion of the permission structure, when he was bold and was courageous, he literally does not need to have a level of restraint in these conversations now. Okay? Like, brother, you played a role in proving to the rest of the country's politicos that you don't have to constantly eat Israel's dick to get a word in, you know? Like, you have expanded the permission structure with your own moral courage. So, like, this is a time, a unique opportunity to continue just saying the truth. Because it's not like my demand is not for Zohran to lie or to be super radical or anything. It's just to say the truth. Because right now, there is more opportunity than ever before for anti-Zionists to be able to say the truth on a prominent platform. This is a super cope take, but I think he has to frame it this way because he will be asked about both sides anyway, and he can get it out of the way to end focus on more affordability. No, I think he's trying to play it as safe as he possibly can. I don't think he needs to be playing as safe either, for the record. But even more, to be fair, guys, it's not playing it unsafe if he's like 2 years of genocide, Donald Trump is responsible for it. I think, if a final cessation of hostilities actually takes place, we must examine how we got there and why previous administrations failed to do so. Having said that, this is not, like, it's just, you don't have to constantly do the whole, oh yeah, we really have to make sure that the hostages are safe and secure. Like that stuff is not, like, you don't have to do that at all. It's not even unsafe to just be like, no, my focus is on re-examining our relationship with this country that has done untold amounts of pain with our tax dollars and demands more every step of the way. That's something you can say right now. And not only is it something you can say right now, you can literally say that and see benefits from it, which is something that I never thought I would see in my lifetime. Do you understand? We should never, ever in a million years allow the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene at any point to outflank prominent anti-Zionists who are running to the left flank of American politics. Like, think about it. We are watching Marjorie Taylor Greene become like a prominent voice. That's unacceptable, I think. That is so unacceptable. Like, Democrats need to wake the up, dude. Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Candace Owens cannot be the ones who drive the conversation of anti-Zionism in this country, especially because they are, in many instances, failing to explain the complex relationship with America and Israel. And maybe if I'm even a little bit more cynical, I would go so far as to say that they are driving the conversation and steering it in a way that is more so to beef up their own personal benefits and also to steer the conversation in an anti-Semitic direction rather than a real steadfast approach to decoupling from Israel, to push for to push for BDS, for example.
Said everyone for everyone. They reminded us of the universality of what a resolution could look like. And we have to ensure.
Because you just said Jessica on Fox 5 is still saying he doesn't care about anti-Semitism. Exactly. That is exactly why you have to be honest in this moment. Because anytime you take like a wishy-washy approach on this, your response should be, this has nothing to do with Judaism. It does not. And I think it's this negative association, this negative conflation, this false conflation between Judaism and Zionism is actually incredibly problematic and dangerous. It's a dangerous conflation. A lot of people play fast and loose with this. And I think that there are polls to suggest that American Jews are broadly coming to the recognition that Israel is committing a genocide. Also, on top of that, even if that wasn't the case, it still doesn't change the reality. Yeah. The Democratic Party is never going to become the anti-Zionist party. They literally armed and financed the Gaza genocide in 2023 and continue to do so. I mean, yeah, I understand why you're saying this. I don't disagree with you. It's just my goal here and the goal of others who are anti-Zionist should be to force the hand of the party into becoming that. Okay? You just can't give up. There is no other alternative then, right?
That there's a universality in the delivery and the enforcement of a ceasefire so that we can actually build a peaceful future as opposed to one that elides over the injustice that's become a constant.
I ask because I spoke to a Palestinian American.
We just talked to Tommy Quarantino, man. Think about that. Grew up in a Jewish community, grew up as a Zionist. And over a short period of time, he came to this conclusion. He came to this recognition, so much so that he took action, not only fundraising millions of dollars for PCRF, but then also literally got on a flotilla and got tortured and kidnapped by the Israeli state. Like, people's minds do change, even at this level. Like, you just can't give up. You can't give up on being steadfast in your approach, being uncompromising in your anti-Zionism, and simultaneously still welcoming new people every single day. He also said he committed social suicide, so it was obviously not in the majority. No need to pretend otherwise. Wait, what? No, the polls that I'm referencing is 39% of American Jews, not New York Jews. 39, or is it New York Jews? No, I think it was American Jews. 39% of American Jews believe that Israel is committing a genocide, and I think it's like 61% of American Jews that believe Israel is doing war crimes in Gaza, which is like for the most targeted, socially conditioned group in the country, with the exception of evangelical Zionists. Like, The fact that American Jews are outflanking evangelical Zionists, evangelical Christian Protestants, white evangelical Protestants specifically, is crazy. Okay? They're literally Jewish. This is baked into every social function. Like, support for Israel is quite literally from birth baked into every social aspect of their existence. Those numbers are so bad. Yes, I know. I think you're misunderstanding something. Okay, you're not hearing what I'm saying. White evangelical Protestants, I haven't seen the latest numbers, but I suspect white evangelical Protestants have a more pro-Israel stance than the American Jews that were polled. How is she able to bargain without you going full Emperor Palpatine on her? I've decided I'm no longer doing that. I love doing it, but it's my favorite thing, but just not doing it anymore. One of my hobbies. As a Jew, is literally every waking moment that you were taught about the importance of Israel, you helped open my eyes. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think people understand. Why do you keep infantilizing Jewish people? Like, why the f*** are you doing Jewish exceptionalism in Big 2025? It's not the first time. Oh my Lord, it is not Jewish exceptionalism. I don't give a f*** if 100% of Jews were pro-Israel. How many times do I have to explain this, dumbass? Please stop with this dumb shit, okay? It's not. Jesus Christ. It's not. This is not Jewish exceptionalism. This is an understanding of how people get propagandized. If you want to change people's minds, you have to be nicer, okay? You have to come to the conversation. You have to come to the recognition of social conditioning. This is the same for racists that I talk to, people that are in the margins of transphobia that I talk to about trans existence, people that I talk to that are in the margins or have like unexamined anti-black sentiment about black liberation or police brutality. This is just how I do everything for every single thing that I advocate for. Okay? Please. Oh my God. It has nothing to do with Jewish exceptionalism. It has everything to do with an acceptance of the reality of social conditioning and how much of a formative role it plays in developing the collective consciousness of whatever group that we're talking about. Okay? You do it more with the Jews, though. When I'm talking about Israel, specifically about Jewish opinions on Israel, of course I'm going to talk about that. Jesus Christ. No, you're just more primed into hearing that. It's not like I bring it up every day either, by the way. Jesus Christ, it's just literally the topic at hand. Just stop. Ay, ay, ay. It's just so funny because half of the chatters that chirp at me like this did not know what the Palestine was before October 7 and might not have even actually been on board with what I was saying during the first couple of months of Israel's incursion. If I had this exact same attitude that you have currently with your moral posture, I would not have been able to convert many people into a recognition of reality. Okay? Can you imagine every day I just sit here and talk about how I'm so much smarter than you. I know so much more than you do. Like every day, over and over again. It'd be like, oh, it took you months. It took you years. The apartheid was for 75 years. 77 now, and only now you realize that it was an apartheid? Like, can you imagine if I just did that all the time? That's not productive. My job is, my goal here is to change people's minds, okay? To help them come to the recognition, to lead them to the water, okay? To help them come to the goddamn recognition of the reality. Oh my God.
Last night, we've had him on the show multiple times. He has a lot of family living in Gaza, has a lot of family that was killed in Gaza over the last 2 years. He said that this ceasefire gave him hope in a way that he hasn't felt in 2 years.
Yeah, and you don't push anyone further. Wait, what? Yeah, just don't push anyone further? What do you mean? Further to what? Further than what? Anti-Zionism? Anti-fascism? Just bring them to the water? What is further than anti-Zionism and anti-fascism? What are you trying to say? Is there like a secret third position that I'm unaware of? Funny you think you are bringing people to that. Within the confines of this stream, I can only highlight the voices that are doing the brave work, which is the Palestinians. I don't know what you mean outside of that. But yeah, in this stream, oh, do you want me to come on stream and debate? Are you all right, dude? What the f going on? I think you should stop debating your therapist. That's what you should stop doing. We got ourselves a master debater here. Yeah. If you don't take a more tempered and more open-minded approach to people's past positions, coming at it with the recognition that they are still always going to fall victim to their social conditioning, you are not going to do a very good job of changing people's minds. That's all I'm saying. This is not like something. This is not like anything crazy that I'm bringing up here. It's just something that I've always believed and always abided by in my commentary, and it's something that I will always. Is a charitability that I will always apply to every single thing that I talk about in my advocacy. David from Douglas Murray secretly drafted. Oh yeah, this is secretly drafted speeches for the Israeli ambassador. They have fired the staff of the CDC's Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report and 70 epidemic intelligence service officers who are disease detectives that respond to outbreaks. I cannot emphasize enough how dangerous it is to dismantle our disease surveillance infrastructure. Awesome. You know what's crazy too? By the way, Trump got the gay autism booster yesterday. If you want to understand how morally bankrupt these pieces of shit are, okay, this man has, first of all, he's an anti-vaxxer, right? He is personally in his communications anti-vaxxer, right? And he has RFK's brainworms running the show and presenting like unlimited anti-vaxxer positions and not only that, but also, like he is literally taking away people's opportunities to get vaxxed, okay, making it more difficult for people to get vaxxed. Meanwhile, this piece of shit is going to Walter Reed and getting boosted up. Be for real, man. Be for real. And you know, okay, guys, stop barking. You know, none of these it's not going to be on Fox News. Okay, they're not going to talk about this. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating to see this where they're just like hurting so many people, but simultaneously worried about it in their own lives. I hate that.
You had called many times ceasefire now, repeatedly since October 7th, and there is a ceasefire in place now.
Yes, and I what I'm saying is that I want it to last, and I think that the praise comes when it is delivered. And there's a lot of news about it. The images are incredible of seeing these children celebrating, and I want to make sure that it is something lasting. But I do think this is what people have been hoping for. It's just that there have been so many false starts along the way, and we have to deliver this. And I'll tell you,
it's like, why won't you praise Donald Trump for bringing about a ceasefire? I think if someone was crazy enough, dark woke style, they would say, well, you know, I'm not going to praise Hitler for killing Hitler. Now that would be a bold position, okay? Like, who do we think did the genocide? That's some real dark woke shit. Except a lot of dark woke people, I feel like, are the Barbras and Debras who do also happen to sometimes be pro-Israel as well, but I don't know. Yeah. It's giving, we got to find out who killed Hitler and give that guy a medal, okay? Just saying. Way better examples. I'm not going to praise Putin for ending the Ukraine war. Okay, that's actually, you're not wrong. That is a better example. I mean, it's a more contemporary example. One that probably would limit the ire and scrutiny you would get from Hitler comparisons, but I like to make it on purpose because I think it's apt.
As someone who's looking to be the mayor of the city, to represent this city, my responsibility is to this city. And recently I was speaking with a Palestinian New Yorker who told me how he'd spent decades saving up to build a house in Gaza and how it was destroyed by the Israeli military in just one drop of a bomb, and how his son and his daughter-in-law live in Gaza today with their grandchildren, and how his son called him the other week and said, he gave the phone to his grandkid, and the grandkid said, "I'm hungry." And this man told me I couldn't do anything for him. I couldn't send him anything. And so the news at the prospect of that child being able to eat, that family being able to live a life of safety, that is news that fills me with hope. I just want to make sure that it's real.
Zohran Mamdani, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Really appreciate it.